Thank you. Well, I guess after hearing the last speaker, I should kind of readjust my remarks and comment about the importance of free speech and the current flight from free speech, which we have going on in the United States. We have here a little graph, which I view with a total alarm when my staff was able to come up with it. Of course, freedom of speech takes many forms in our society, the ability to write books, the ability to get on the radio, and now the ability to post things you want as an internet. I hope my good friend from Texas looks at this, he left the floor right now, and sees how precarious the right to free speech is in America today. We look here, and there's a question. The U.S. government should take steps to protect false info online, even if it limits freedom of information. Now, of course, we all can disagree about a lot of things. We can disagree on politics. We can disagree on elections. We can disagree on medical facts. You know, that's why if we have something wrong with us medically, we sometimes get a second opinion because one doctor thinks different than the other. Right now, and of course, we all know people, you know, should I take the shot? Should I not take the shot? Should I get a surgery? Should I not get a surgery? Should I get remdesivir, not get remdesivir? A lot of questions that are up in the air. There was a time when it could have been, had an effect on election if people found out that Hunter Biden took a lot of money from people in other countries who maybe had a underlying goal. The question is free speech what this country's about or not? With the Democrat Party, and this alarms me, because I was a Democrat until I was 20 years old, and I thought Democrats were out in front of free speech and the Republicans were the staid people. But we have a situation right now over the last few years in which 65% of the Democrats, a clear majority, almost 2-to-1, the U.S. government should take steps to restrict false info online, even if this restricts freedom of information. 65%, only 28% of Republicans do. Now, this graph shocks me. This weekend I'm going to be speaking to some Republicans back in the district, and I will tell you, I'm going to tell them how disappointed I am that 28% of the Republicans responding to the poll apparently don't want freedom of information. But I would hope my colleague from Texas goes back home and explodes at the people back home that 65% of the Democrats or people leaning Democrats want to restrict the free flow of information. Now, you could say they only want to prevent false things from being put out there, but of course, who determines what is false and who is true? You look at the next one, another sign of do you believe in free speech or not. Should tech companies take steps to restrict false info online, even if it limits freedom of information? And we all know things that some people agree with and some people don't agree with, and sometimes things we once thought were false turn out to be true. But here again, it scares me. You know, the Democrats, when I was a Democrat and 20 years old, I'll tell you, I wouldn't have thought this way. But the Democrat Party has changed a lot. 76% thinks tech companies should restrict false info, even if it limits freedom of information. Only 37% of the Republicans feel that way. That is a very scary thing. Scary for our country, and it comes down to what I think is the scariest thing of all, the way people think. It's not even things the government do, but it seems like, I don't know if they have bad schools out there or whatever, but the way people think is kind of scary. We know in Canada to the north of us, which we thought was kind of a country like America, right now they crack down on churches. Churches! If maybe they disagree with the party line on sexual behavior. We mentioned in the last election, things began to come out about Hunter Biden taking money from foreign outfits, presumably just being given money because of the access he had to his dad. We better not let that out there online. We better not talk about that on TV. Oh my goodness, that might affect the way people think. So we have this restriction going on right now. Like I said, on the COVID stuff, I don't know the degree to which it's influenced by campaign contributions from companies like Pfizer. I don't know whether is the pride of the public health establishment. But we are entering into an era in this country in which we are not going to be able to say certain things unless the American public realizes that the First Amendment is borderline absolute. And the fact that such a huge party, overwhelming majorities, have no problem with know-it-alls in the government restricting what you can find online, very scary. I hope and pray that the American public wakes up on this dangerous trend. I know we're late here on Thursday. I hope my friend who just got done speaking weighs in here. But I will talk to Republicans this weekend, but I really hope that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle come down strongly with their rank and file that apparently is against free speech and tell them the importance of free speech.